Central. It's now time for us to look at the newspaper front pages, and joining us for analysis today is Mr. Sesan Okunade, public affairs analyst. And Sesan Okunade, I must tell you, I've never told any analyst.
Can I tell you what he's about to tell you? That you are his favorite analyst.
You're my favorite newspaper analyst.
Ask me how do I know?
How do you know?
Because he said that yesterday to Mr. Theophilus Akatuba, and the day before.
As yesterday.
And Habib Haruna.
As yesterday, Theophilus Akatuba was my favorite analyst. Today is a new day.
But he has not started now. Let him
As in advance.
Thank you very much, Benga, and good morning to our viewers across the globe. Yeah.
Wow. Benga and Nigerian politicians have one thing in common.
What newspaper do we start?
Let's start with the Punch. Let's start with the Punch. The Punch. I think the Punch pretty much has all the biggest stories, all of them.
PDP ticket zoning to South splits North. This is a conversation we had earlier with the PDP chieftain. Parties and other stakeholders to review decision next week. Move may favor Tinubu's re-election. Warn Arewa youths. Zoning fair to South, says Middle Belt. Probe begins as Abuja Kaduna train mishap injures 6.
ASUU protests rocks campuses ahead of federal government talks, and 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay. Wow.
Wow.
And United States court jails Osun monarch over $4.2 million COVID-19 fraud. That's not a royal.
Yeah, I read that story in the early hours of this morning, as early as I think past 6 a.m. No, not 6. I think that was around past 5 a.m. this morning. While I was going through, I was like, wow, how could you? But anyway.
How do you bring such a royal institution into disrepute? I mean, it's terrible. That's the Ekpetu, the royal father of Ekpetu Modu. When the prison guards come to him, they'll be telling him, Your Highness, your food is here.
We should take that story on 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay. This is a reflection of where our education system is currently at. ASUU going on strike, National Association
threatening to go on strike.
NANT, the Nigerian Association, National Association of Nigerian Students, saying they will shut down critical infrastructure if government does not listen to ASUU. And now 239 first-class lecturers quit Unilag over poor pay. Let's start with that.
Thank you very much. What I would refer to as a disheartening story, looking at the importance of education, even in our economic growth and development. People will tell you that if you don't train them, don't blame them. If you observe, the decadence that we have is part of the failure that we have in terms of our education. I've not read the in-depth of that story, but it's alarming, because I know it will definitely be within a specific period of time. I don't want to believe that this happened just between January and August, where we are in now. Maybe in the last 2, 3, 4 years, it's the reference for this particular story. But be as it may, lecturing used to be one of the good things everybody wants to venture into, because you want to impact and grow people that will definitely take over from you. But when you see people actually taking a leave and not ready to impact the knowledge, it impends a serious threat to our development. Be that it may, I think it's a wake-up call to those at the helm of affairs. This has nothing to do only with the federal government, even at the state level. So if you discover that the lecturers are leaving, a lot of the people in question who are at the helm of affairs today enjoy the basic free education with quality teachers, lecturers, from primary to secondary to tertiary institution. I asked myself the question, the stories a lot of us read and we witnessed, where you saw a lot of foreigners coming to a tertiary institution. Where is that story of today, if a lot of those people are actually leaving? And if you ask me, they are not leaving Unilag to go to OAU.
Nope.
They are actually leaving to go to UK. So you are facing this in education. You're facing this in the health sector. Don't forget, we keep talking about brain drain in the health sector. So it's something that traverses every sector of our economy, of which we keep asking ourselves. We want foreign direct investment. We are traveling to have good handshake with other countries. I think we are only preparing the ground for our citizens to have safe landing there, not for them to invite the other people from there. But it's a very disheartening story when you see that lecturers are leaving lecturing job and they are still in need, but for other senior clients where they can enjoy dividend of lecturing. Don't forget, they will tell you that the reward of teacher or lecturer is in heaven. These days, you must enjoy the dividend on earth because you cannot even guarantee whether you will make the heaven. So enjoy that of this earth so that at least that will be a plus for you, even if you don't make heaven. But I think it's a wake-up call to our government. We will continue to reiterate it. It's not only in the educational sector, it's impacting on the health sector, it's impacting on the other arms of the government, our art, our tourism sector. Everything is really not just working in line with the way it should be. And this will not impact positively on those people we refer to as the future leaders of tomorrow.
I mean, just to add that we have seen ASUU, it's really unfortunate that this is happening. Our education sector needs a total overhaul. ASUU is currently ahead of the planned strike. There have been protests in different schools.
Yeah.
We've seen stage protests.
Yeah, I saw that of
Uni Abuja,
even Uni
UNM.
Ibadan.
Yeah.
So a number of schools have joined in this
University.
protest. And it's like a way of saying that, look, we mean business. We're tired of staying at home. We're tired about the quality of our education not being, being subpar. And our students deserve better. Their teachers in the form of lecturers and professors.
I just want to make an appeal, Olive, that they should not allow what happened. I think, is it 3 or 4 years ago? We are students had to stay at home for like 8 months to 10 months.
Really hope
I stayed home for about 7 months.
7 months.
That was 3 years ago.
You can imagine when you are not addressing issues that you're supposed to address. People staying at home for 8 months. You can imagine what will happen. A guy that's not engaged, preoccupied with anything, engage himself in one activities or the other, because those are the things that are very close to him.
Imagine these people saying that their salary has remained the same since 2009. Whereas revenue mobilization allocation fiscal.
They say they should review salaries of
their own is 2008. This one is 2009. So government is just telling them that we are not increasing our own, so we can't increase their own. It's to tell you the importance they place on the education. Yeah. If people can talk, if Ramfa can come, which agency is actually concerned about the welfare of some of those people? Is it the 70,000 we're talking about for the civil servant that you want to ask as take home that is actually not taking them every day with the high cost of things that we're experiencing every day? I think it's not only about education. I think it cuts across, and government just need to be intentional. That's why a lot of us have advocated. It is not about increasing the salary. It's about providing basic amenities that can make life, more meaningful to people. Access to education. While our parents were going on, they were not agitated. They were not agitating for increase in salary because there was free education. Those that care to listen, I keep saying it. If there was no free education in Lagos State, will a lot of people like us be able to speak the grammar we're speaking today? Jakonde made the provision, and a lot of them were actually there. There were access to free healthcare, primary healthcare centers. How many of them do we have functioning as we speak? And the people that were referred to as the future leaders of tomorrow are the leaders today. And they are not actually doing things in line. And they will tell you that they are actually following the footstep of the founding father, not replicating those things that they actually enjoy for the current generation to actually.
Okay, let's hear from Ernest. Ernest is calling from Ajah. Good morning, Ernest. Thank you for calling Breakfast Central. Let's hear your thoughts.
We lost that. Hopefully we'll get across to him again.
Let's hope that Ernest can call back. Let's get to another paper. I know the big story on the Punch is zoning, but we can't escape it because it's a story that is reflected in other papers. So let's move from the Punch now to This Nigerian newspaper to see what the front page of This Nigerian newspaper says. On the front page of This Nigeria, derailment is the big story. Abuja Kaduna train services suspended indefinitely. 6 injured as passengers scramble for safety. Outrage over halt of rail corridor. Fresh safety fears persists. NBA conference. Mba renews call for Kanu's release. 411 Nigerians die from scooping fuel from falling tankers in 2024, according to FRSC. Really sad. NSA vows sustained crackdowns on terrorists, hands over 128 rescued Zamfara victims. And then we have an update here from PENCOM. PENCOM says they recovered 4.57 billion naira from defaulted employers in 15 months. So let's talk about this big story here. Abuja Kaduna train services suspended immediately. Yesterday, the news read that at Asham station in the FCT, there was a derailment of the Abuja Kaduna train. And we had talked about the fact that this is the first one happening this year, but last year there were multiples. There was one in March. No, March one was an attack. Is it March or May? That was an attack. March, actually, was the kidnap attack. Then there was one in May 26th, another one June 7th or June 5th, then another one June 12th. So there are subsequent ones, and usually it's always the thing of the railroads, the track, I forgot what they're called, but those things that sort of keep the track in place. That you could tell that vandals have attacked the tracks and have stolen a number of these. But this now has garnered reaction. There are people who criticizing them, and there are some that say, okay, maybe this year is not as bad as previous years, but let's get your thoughts on that. Yeah,
maybe we will start from the fact of there's always this ground of comparison, and people can come to say, okay, when you compare the attack and the level at which you suspended the rail system last year compared to this year, I think you can give them some kudos if this is the first we are hearing this year. But be that it may, I think several people have actually made calls as regard placing surveillance on our rail system in such a way to protect it. We've seen several instances of people actually, the vandals, attacking these places, and you've asked yourself the questions, why and how did it happen? We've had situations where there can be synergy between the railways corporation and the indigenous or citizen of some of the areas where this rail system had to pass through, so that they can take ownership, protect some of these things.
Absolutely.
And we've asked instances of using technology to actually monitor activities over there. But you ask yourself, even when you use technology to monitor this activity, how swiftly are the security agency to actually get on board to make sure that some of these things...
Let's put a pin there. You're talking about using technology. Let's hear from Ernest. Ernest is calling from Aja. Good morning, Ernest. Please go ahead.
Again.
Ernest, have patience. Have patience. We'll pick your call, but we have to have a conversation here. Okay, so like you've talked about technology being a very key instrument in being able to deal with the derailment challenge that Nigeria has. And I completely agree with you. I think another point that you mentioned would be ensuring that the locals take ownership of this, involving them. And I think that's something that we spoke to earlier.
Then
about
the cost of it, because if you're going to involve technology, and I believe Joe mentioned that Rotimi Amechi proposed, it was part of his budget, but it wasn't approved because it was exorbitant. The price for those surveillance systems and things to safeguard the entire road corridor. Is it something we can afford? Because ASUU is threatening to strike, the doctors are threatening to strike. Are we going to use that money can we afford it as a nation?
Yeah, well, you see, when you look at all these issues, it's just about planning.
And Third Mainland Bridge repair is going to cost
700 and something trillion. Yeah.
Most of the time, it's about effective planning. It's not that these funds are not there. You are complaining about, do we have the resources? There are funds in the hands of individuals, as far as this country is concerned, that is actually being misappropriated on daily basis without anybody asking question. Can we put those things together and see the effects this we have on some of the infrastructure we're actually talking about? We've seen instances where you had about overbloated of some of these projects, and nobody is asking question about it. Some of these things, you see the beginning of it, you don't see the end. They just commence the project and suddenly become an abandoned project. These are areas we need to learn, and that's why we always call out the anti-graft agency. How much are we monitoring in the area of project delivery to make sure that some of these things are to the pricing of what you actually call some of these things? You know a lot of money that was spent by NNPC the other time in monitoring grids and all the likes. The story we heard thereafter is that EFCC tried to open the book, and it's only the first page they claim they've opened. They said they could not continue. So you can imagine.
It was a horror book.
Let's go to Debo. Hold on, let's go to Debo from Abuja. Debo, good morning. Okay, I think we might just focus. So let's go back to the book that wasn't.
Are you sure maybe there's something wrong with this?
I think some vandals have tampered with the land.
Same ones that
They say that the real sister, yeah.
They want to derail our program, but God would never allow them.
Never. Yes and amen.
We would not.
Okay. There's still some stories. I mean, some other stories.
You missed out on a big story in the past.
NSA
Sorry
vows-
to take us back.
Yeah.
Because we're forward ever, backward never. But in the Punch, Oshun drags federal government to Supreme Court.
Exactly.
He has tried the political way. I'm talking of Senator Jackson Ademola Adeleke.
I was going to take
the
it in the
senator
Vanguard, but
that
it's
likes
okay.
to dance. The government has been withholding their local government's allocation in the tune of billions. He also met with President Tinubu with his famous nephew, David Adeleke, aka Davido Okochioma. And you might think he also endorsed the president ahead of 2027, even though he belongs to PDP. But all these things are not working. Still on still, they have not released the allocation of the local government. So it's taking the legal way
In
now.
fact,
It's
from the
taking it to
grapevine,
court
a
of
little
law.
birdie from the grapevine had said that the salaries were being paid from his pocket and from 30
Daddy.
BG
Yeah.
and 30 BG daddy.
Wow, that's a serious one.
Yeah,
But what do you mean by still on still?
You should have said still on still now.
Okay. Anyway, still on still. The allocation has not been released.
I think after adopting all the quite interesting that this is happening in my state. You know, the other time when you were actually reading the story of the monarch, I was smiling from within because
Why always on
why you're showing the
Why
daily this particular time. I think the governor have tried the informal way, let me put it that way, of seeking the attention of Mr. President, and if it's not working. But the issue there I need to raise is I hope they've fulfilled that which is expected of them to carry out some of this disbursement that they're actually expecting. Because I know that we have autonomy now, the local government has autonomy, but I don't know the reason why that is actually being withheld. I know they have this issue of saying they cannot have election. There was a period that they had crisis and asked all the local government people to actually go back home that they were not safe. Part of the things I want both the subnational and the federal government to understand is when they have issues like this, it doesn't affect them in any way. It's always affecting the people that they are claiming that they are leading. If you are withholding some of those things, can you come out clean and let's know the basic reason for actually withholding those things? Possibly even the staff, the civil servant, can see how to collaborate with the governor to fulfill that side of yours in implementing the disbursement of aid. This would definitely impact on the citizen, the workers, the civil servant. And now, a lot of people you hear about going into depression. The school will be resuming. You've not paid their salary for months. How do you expect them to cope? And you'll be talking of people venturing into things that is really not allowed in the system. Insecurity will continue because people want to go and steal when they cannot even be paid the salary. How do you expect them to go to work when they are not even being paid salary, and you come tomorrow and say people are not actually going to work? I think anytime we have issues like this, government should understand that it is not about the two elephants that are fighting. If you have anything against the governor, or you feel that they've not done things right, can you address the major issues that are actually out there for the citizen you claim you are leading? Enjoy the dividend of democracy, because this will impact more on the civil servant in that particular. And don't forget, my state is more of civil servant. We don't have commercial activity. So when you are not paying the local government, the state, the state civil servant, the local government servant, definitely what you're sending to the people is to be impoverishing them the more, and they'll put pressure on other people.
It's quite unfortunate. And then it's happening under a president who went through the same thing in his time as governor of Lagos State. That's just the irony.
Possibly he's only trying to say, I went through the same thing and I'm able to wither it.
So you too find your way.
Find your way and do this. But that's not the way to actually go. A lot of us have said this, that Mr. President, while he was governor of Lagos State, seems to be very closer to the grassroots. But now that he's at the center, a lot of us are asking the question. It seems there is something at ASUU Rock that we always create that distance between the leaders and the followers. Because if you ask yourself, the governor of Lagos State and the president, the same person, there seems to be wide disparity of what we're actually getting there. Because we believe that he will be able to enroll some of these subnationals to actually deliver the dividend of democracy. We've heard about him, giving more allocation to them. How much have we monitored to make sure that they deliver to point some of these funds that are disbursed to them to impact on the common man that we have down there? These are gaps that we are seeing in the governance of today.
Okay.
Very deep.
Let's now move.
Okay.
Do you have a story you want to take?
Yeah.
I wanted us to move to the...
Which one were you looking at?
The
Vanguard, right? Okay. I don't know if you have...
Okay, we can do the Guardian.
I don't know if you have Guardian. There's a big story there in the Guardian. I don't know if we have that on the screen.
Story.
There are two of them. The very first one is over 5,000 cargoes trapped at ports amid 2 trillion naira demurrage losses. Big one, big story. And remember the FOB and the
There's
likes.
also a new plan
and then
Diodogu that
Yes.
exporters, businessmen are finding it hard to
Navigate.
to navigate.
Of
so
course.
it's causing delays.
Of course. And then there's this big one, Rivers LG polls. Police vow tough time for cultists and troublemakers. So it's obvious that the LG polls is still going to happen amidst the Nigerian constitution, which of course stipulates that
a timeline between announcement
and when it's to be held, and then it also mentions that it should be done by the state, duly elected state governor, which is one of the issues many have highlighted that it shouldn't hold.
I'm wondering so much power we are actually arrogating to the administrator, the sole administrator. He's actually to come in and bridge the gap. But the gap that is actually bridging seems to be extending beyond what a lot of us are actually asking questions about. As we speak, we've asked the question, what is the state of things with the governor of Rivers State? Where are we? Where are we? We cannot continually, endlessly be having the sole administrator managing activities. I think it was meant for 6 months. I've actually lost count. I don't know the number of months he's actually in. I think he started around February. By now, we should be talking about the expiration of that tenure. But we've seen him ventured into a lot of things that is expected of a democratically elected governor of the state. And you ask yourself, what are other arms of the government that are supposed to look into this? What are they actually looking into? If he's carrying out the election of a local government in that area, you ask yourself, what will become of the governor when he now comes in as a person?
All right, please, let's quickly go on a break. When we come back, we'll take more stories. So please, let's go for this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Breakfast Central is the show, and our final lap, we do have like 5 minutes to go, or 6. So, Olive, which one are we touching
yes, on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, electricity consumers raise concern. I believe, Benga, you wanted to take that. Over tariff hike and epileptic supply. I saw a screenshot posted by a Nigerian actor, and in that screenshot, he was sending a message from his generator guy. When the generator guy said, guy help me, I no get food to feed my family, no work, light there everywhere. So this is a situation of as they favor some.
As it is some,
you understand. But is that the reality of a number of, how, maybe we should do like a broad check here. How much access do we have to light?
I mean, it's been very good from my end. Very, very good.
Very, very good. I can at least talk about, if not 24 hours, I can talk about 22.
Yes.
22 hours, very good.
So I think all of us on this set have an experience. But I want to specially call out the power service providers in Agungi Agungi, Ologolo,
Ayobo.
Agungi, to be precise, Agungi, I had to move out of Agungi. And I know people that are still in Agungi and Idado axis. And they are still frustrating their epileptic power supplies as if the deities, they did juju.
Where are these places you just mentioned?
These places are right after. So after
I don't know where they are. Where are
It
they?
sounds like Riverine area.
Yeah, I mean, do you know where
No
they
jokes
are?
about where this place is it in Lekki?
Benga, be careful.
Just after the cafe,
Be
you
careful.
have...
It's Lekki, no high road.
But what's interesting there is that I think you have the same 33 that actually span from Island, cutting across to mainland that actually passed through Agungi. I don't know.
So I don't know what's
major
happening,
reason.
so please.
But
If I
island,
get people-
the island is meant to be screaming luxury. You are meant to love it.
Please, let's go to this Nigeria.
NERC, please.
We're going to shout it. We're going to shout it.
Agungi, they need power.
You know this
Fix
program?
The power in Agungi that
You know this program, we take on
every day we go to
this
shout.
job. we
And
shout.
then last month, the traffic lights at the Freedom Junction has not been
it's-
working
that-
for almost
that
3 weeks.
place
It's an
is
accident waiting to
chaotic.
happen because people are coming from here, people are coming from the other side. Every time
And
I pass
then
that
just
junction,
after-
it's terrible.
Not
On
just
that
that
Freedom
alone, we've had the same
You still
issue
have-
under Ikeja Bridge. If you are heading towards Kodesho,
yeah.
Yes.
you know, it's been there. And
Computer
those
village.
guys wearing black will take that as a privilege
To milk.
to make and milk people
What
out.
do you mean when you say those guys wearing black?
I don't know whether they are supporting Lasma, but they are
Oh,
always
okay,
there.
okay.
They wear black.
Is it black or
uniform.
grey?
Is it grey or black?
Yeah.
Well,
Black and grey.
black and grey.
So who are they? What's their
I
designation?
don't, I don't know, but
Maybe local
I've
government.
called that thing out on several radio stations.
Too many-
to
too
be
many-
fixed up because you will not even
many
know when
tax
it's passing you
collectors, Too many.
until when you see the people on this side and the other side. Maybe once in a blue moon, the last man guys will come out to direct and say, "Okay, it's your time to come by." I feel
And
they should fix that.
There's
like
some
that.
that even hold dispatch riders. You just see them.
You have the area boys,
If it's to
street area
send
boys. You have the ones on
and to be
uniform.
checking, if it's to send tickets, they'll be quick. Time to fix lights,
And
they are not quick.
that
Last month,
Freedom Road that you mentioned.
yes.
Just in the middle of that chaos, you still have a police roadblock as just compounding,
let's have small
compounding
shame
the
as a
traffic.
people. Let's have small shame.
This Nigeria is our final paper. One last story.
We have
Derailment.
taken this Nigeria.
Derailment.
I have taken
Okay,
it,
okay. I just
yes.
want to highlight it to the other papers too. Abuja Kaduna train. You took that, right?
Yes, we've taken
My question to that. Okay, let me leave that. Let me go to
Yeah,
the
let's
story.
move that. Let's
Pencom.
actually talk about Benue State because we haven't touched on Benue
Okay.
State. Benue State is on the front page of the Vanguard. Benue Assembly suspends ex-speaker over Governor Alia's impeachment move. I don't know if you've been following what's happening in Benue State House of Assembly.
I suspend 4.
Speaker suspended 4. After suspending 4,
I
48
resigned.
hours later, he resigned. Then, after he resigned, the House now lifted the suspension on those 4 and took one of the 4 as the current speaker. That one now came back and said, you do me self, I go do you.
This is political what? Suspension pick to last guy check.
Check off. So he
I was
has
just
now
to say, it's,
suspended
what-
the ex-speaker for 3 months.
You suspend me, I suspend you back.
The politics that our people play with some of these things, you ask yourself, is about personal ego and some of the things. Maybe the other guys that were actually suspended initially are loyalists to the governor. You can't take that away because I saw the reaction of the governor when the man resigned. He said, "My hands are clean. I have nothing in some of those things." But we all know how it works and how some of those things play. You see, mine is that whatever the issue that happens between them, they should give the people of the state good governance. They should allow them to actually enjoy the dividend of democracy by providing the basic things that they have actually promised. Benue, as we know, is actually the food basket of the nation. But we've seen a lot of unrest. We've seen a lot of killing in that particular state. What are the state assembly doing in conjunction with the governor to actually curb this? It's not about whether somebody is resigning, somebody is on suspension or the other. Concentrate on governance. That's why they are actually elected. But they use a lot of this thing to distract the populace of speaking the basic thing that they're actually supposed to do. What we are calling them to do is the impact of the crisis in Benue is affecting other states because we regard them as the food basket of the nation, and there have been serious unrest because even these that are actually happening is impacting on the delivery of that particular state.
All right, this is how we wrap up the show. Benue State, you have a lot of pressing issues, and security is a challenge. Do not be distracted by the multiple suspensions happening with the Benue State House of Assembly. Hold your lawmakers to account. They have a responsibility to wield legislative instruments in your favor and not to be playing internal politics. That's not why you voted them to be there. This is how we close up the show today. Thank you very much, Sesan Okunade.
It's a pleasure always to start the
Great to have you. And thank you to our audience. Thank you to those joining online. We'll see you tomorrow.
And Joe Hansen, welcome back, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. It feels good to be back. I'm happy. It's good to be back.
See you tomorrow, everyone.
See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.